So this video is all about where to put a pickleball court because I see a lot of stuff online and people talk about pickleball courts and it always entails spending a lot of money. And some of the options I'm about to suggest will cost a lot of money, but a lot of them, like for instance, putting lines in your driveway, that's nothing relative to the cost of, a $25,000 to $30,000 pickleball court. So I'm just going to fire out 10 places where you can put a pickleball court. We're just going to go wing it with that, and I'm going to include some pickleball pictures. So the first is a pre-existing tennis court, in particular, a residential tennis court. Now, I know many of you don't have your own tennis court, but you might know someone who does. And that's just the easiest because they have the space. They're probably not using it for tennis. And maybe you can talk them into getting lines put down on their tennis court. Now, this particular picture gives you a good idea of what the layout will be. If you were to put, and that, I'm not going to go into the whole, dynamic of the layout of the lines. There's a lot that goes into that. And here's another view from that same court. That's kind of what you're looking at when you put lines on a pre-existing tennis court. All right, what's your second one? Now you're talking about a pre-existing patio or slab on your property. Now, a pickleball court is 20 by 44. Those are the dimensions of the lines. Now, if you were to build a 20 by 44 slab, there's some cost associated with that. However, that's not that big of a space. And it's when you start talking about the Southwest and when you go into in the Southeast, and when you go into areas like Texas or Arizona where they have a lot of space, it's a little bit easier to build. This is a court I did. This slab existed. They weren't using it for anything. Yeah, there's a basketball hoop there, but the slab was there before the basketball hoop. You can tell because there's not that much space between here. So that hoop, anyway, this slab pre-existed. So it's kind of, so why not use it? So if you have a pre-existing slab or patio, can you put a 20 by 44 footprint on there? All right. Pre-existing sports slab. So there was a period of time where there were a lot of basketball courts being built. And unfortunately, they didn't build them with pickleball in mind. So you get a lot of scenarios like this slab was exactly 44 feet long. So we cheated the lines in just barely. They had to extend this slab here, but they had these slabs in their backyard. And so again, there's a lot of people that have pre-existing basketball courts or what have you. Now, what about a driveway? So one of the main issues with driveways is they're designed to have a slope to them, so the water will run off and away from the property. So that's a little bit of an issue, but generally speaking, if you have driveways that are flat like this, like the pictures you see here, they're great. Now, keep in mind, one of the problems with these are all asphalt. Now, one of the problems is once your asphalt has been seal coated, you cannot paint it like this. So this asphalt was not seal coated, so I was able to put that paint on that asphalt. I could have done it on some of these other ones, but they just wanted to. Anyway, I'm having technical difficulties. They didn't want to paint. They just wanted the lines down. All right, so what are we up to next? Parking lot. You can put a court in a parking lot. Now, fortunately, this was a pre-existing racket club with a parking lot, and they did not have space to build new courts. Now, they also have the insurance, the liability insurance, to have pickleball put in their parking lot. So I say that because if you put pickleball lines down, on, your church parking lot or what have you, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an insurance agent. I just know that that was an issue with them. They wanted to make sure they were covered. So that could be an issue for you putting it in a parking lot. Now, you could build a new slab straight from scratch. Generally speaking, you're looking at a 30 by 60 slab to accommodate, the border and the baseline. And you're going to be looking at, some of those weren't all 30 by 60, but you're going to be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood, nationwide average of between $25,000 and $30,000 to do a slab. And there's a lot of variation from that, so don't even bother quoting me on that. Well, he said, I don't know where you live. I don't know the slope of your property. I don't know the access to the court. I don't know anything as it pertains to you. That number I gave you was a pure average. Now, garage. I have crossed paths with some commercial garages, and I have spoken to some people that wanted to put courts in their actual garage. I have not done it, so I don't really have a lot of pictures for you, or any pictures for you, but I'm just trying to be creative, like that kid that's trying to get, he's padding his essay so he can pass the test. I got to get to 10. I said 10 places to put a pickleball court in your garage. If you have 20 wide and if you have 4-car garage, you have the space, more than likely. Country club hard courts. Hard courts. I didn't say clay courts. I said hard courts. I don't know about where you live, but most of the overwhelming vast majority of clubs in my area don't use their hard courts because everybody plays on the clay or hard true, whatever you want to call it. Because I know people say, we don't have clay courts. We have hard true. All right, whatever. But they don't the clubs aren't using the hard courts. So a lot of them have converted them into multi-sport courts or pickleball courts. That's what you see here. And some of them, this is even an indoor tennis club that is putting lines down on their club. So use the indoor pre-existing slabs. This actually wasn't a country club. It was a pre-existing basketball court at a retirement facility. And nobody was playing basketball at the retirement facility, so they converted it to pickleball. Okay. Public tennis courts. Now, this is a source of major tension. I'll stick with this one in particular. A lot of tennis players are very territorial and they don't want you messing with their courts. But, as I like to say, most of these tennis courts are dying because nobody's using them. So as I like to say, getting mad at people for trying to save these courts and convert them to pickleball is like getting mad at a cardiologist for giving you a pacemaker. Pickleball is saving these courts. It's saving the lives of these courts. So convert them, baby. All right, 10. Gym floors with high ceilings. Where did I go? Parking lots. I missed this angle for parking lots. If you go back, I forgot. 4-car garage, I did. I'm all confused here. Gym floors with high ceilings. There we go. So I haven't done a lot of this because I primarily paint outside. I'm not really an indoor painter, and where I live, it's kind of like the gym floor guys and the outside hard surface guys. It's kind of like never the twain shall meet. We don't step on you, you don't step on us. But there's a lot of places like churches with wood floors that, when they get them refinished, they put pickleball lines down because it gives them the ability to rent out to different people. All right, now the final place is cul-de-sac or street. I highly recommend not doing this. If you want to do it yourself as a homeowner, but I stay away from this. I run away from these because of the liability issues. Because I do know a friend of mine that is also a painter, and he did that, and the town made him rent a sandblaster with walnuts to come out and clean the lines off of the street. It cost him $7,000, $7,000 to take the lines off the street. You can't trust customers because they're like, "Oh, we'll take the responsibility," and then when the town comes for $7,000, they're like, "He did it." So this is a video of the city of San Marcos saying the cul-de-sac pickleball is a liability. So that's why I'm saying I threw it in here for a bonus. Don't do it though. So we got pre-existing tennis courts. Well, you go back through the list. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to help.